For the midterm, I have provided you with a PDF of what you're seeing on my screen right now. I have given you graphic illustrations of all of the different wall types that you need to create: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. So you need to create all of those different wall types. Then you need to illustrate to me by doing a screen capture of, let's see, can I zoom in on that? Oh, yes. Okay, so that's what I want you to do, is show me by illustration on another sheet. These are simply screen captures pasted or inserted into a sheet, which definitely has to have your name on it. If you don't put your name on your sheet, you will not receive any credit for it. You have to claim ownership of your sheet. So we're making these different wall types, and then so that I know that you've made them properly, you'll do a screen capture of each one, and it will show what I will be looking at is to make sure that your material is correct all the way through, and the thickness is correct all the way through. So wall D has brick that's 8 inches thick. Then it has an airspace of 4 inches, rigid and insulation of 2 inches thick, plywood sheathing 3/4. Then you can, as we talked about, core boundaries, you know that there must be something between the core boundaries in order to create your stacked wall. And I am not concerned in any way about the location of your core boundaries for the midterm. And I will not be looking at the function either. I'm looking for the material and the thickness of each of those wall types. So do not put the letter here on your sheet unless you use a different font color. The reason that I'm making that rule is because in previous classes, believe this or not, there were students who, in the requirement to duplicate the information that I'm presenting to you, they simply made screen captures and pasted them. They did screen captures of my wall types and pasted them in or inserted them into their sheets. They did screen captures of these walls, and they did screen captures of the stacked walls and inserted them as if they were their own work. So that's an automatic F in the class, and also a notification to the University of plagiarism. I hope I've made the severity of the infraction of plagiarism clear to you. Now, there weren't a lot of students that have done that, but there are some that have. And so that's why I say if you're going to use this method to tell me which is wall type A, which is wall type B, I need the fonts to be in a different color, just to make sure to me that you have not. That would be one indication that I would use to make sure that you simply haven't cut and paste did the information here. So once you have created all of these different wall types, then I want you to create these levels at these elevations with these distances apart. And then I want you to create these 3 different stacked walls using the proper wall type, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and the proper wall height. And so I will be looking at that. So I do want you to present your walls. The final portion of this would be to actually create those stacked walls based upon the examples that I've given here. And this is what I'll be looking for in your final submission. Also, I would highly recommend that before you submit your PDF that you review it and make sure that the information that you have created and has been properly displayed on your sheet. If your information is outside of this order, I will assume that you didn't do it. I won't look at it, so you won't get credit for it. So that's what we're looking for. You have 3 hours and 20 minutes to simply create this. The way that I would start, making sure that I'm not working on my final project model, because when you change these levels, if you're working on your final project, that will change the levels in your final project. You don't want to do that. So make sure that you have a new sheet, a new model opened up, a new Revit file opened up, and you're working on that. So step one that I would do if I were taking this exam is simply lay out the levels correctly. Okay. Step two would be to make these walls. And we talked about A, B, C, D, and E. You might already have these created generically. You simply go in and make the differences to the assemblies of each of those walls. Third step would then be to create the various stacked walls with the various wall types in them at the assigned or indicated heights. Now, one tip that I will give you is that when you insert a stacked wall and if you get an error message, one of the most common reasons that an error message is created is because you haven't set the base constraint and the top constraint properly. So you're trying to often when I see that error message, it means that you're trying to put all of these components with these heights into that model in a less than the total height allowed necessary. So if you have a 30-foot tall wall and your constraints show that wall to be only maybe going from the bottom of the basement wall to the first floor, obviously you can't fit all of these things in. So one of the important things when you're making or creating your stacked walls is to be sure that you have the constraints for the base and the top properly set. And that would be for these two walls, the bottom of the basement wall and the top of the second floor wall. And for this wall, let's scroll over here, it'll be the top of the first floor wall and the bottom of the garage footing. So that's what I'm looking for. And in the class, you can ask anyone of your fellow classmates while you're taking this midterm for help. If you have a problem and you're having difficulty at whatever point in this requirement for the midterm, you can simply announce to your fellow students, hey, I'm having some trouble. Share your screen. We're doing this all on Zoom. Share your screen and tell your fellow students that you need some help and show them where your problem is, and they should be able to help you, and hopefully someone will. Additionally, you're welcome to go to any tutorials on YouTube. You're also able to call any friend that you want and explain to them what your problem is and ask them to give you some assistance. So the only person that you can't ask for help is me. If you have a technical question, if you say, Professor Bryce, for example, I can't read this number right here. What is the thickness of the brick common on wall B? Then I will tell you. If you can't read it, I'm happy to help you with that. Or any other technical question that you have. So you're going to make these. The ultimate goal, of course, is to show all four of these sheets, 1, 2, 3, 4, for your final or your final submission of the midterm with your name on it. And if you have any sort of technical question, then I'm happy to help you with that. But make sure that you display the work that you've done. If you're unsure on how to show all three of these stacked walls on this title block, it might be something that you might want to ask a fellow student if you're having trouble doing that. And they may help you, or they may not, but I cannot. That would be an example of something that I would not share assistance with on that. I'll answer your technical questions. So I wish everybody the best of luck on the midterm. We've spent a fair amount of time working on preparing for the midterm, and hopefully you watch some other videos on YouTube or other sources that explain how to create stacked walls. And I wish you all the best of luck on your midterm submission. You have 3 hours and 20 minutes at 3:20 on Friday. Let's see, that would be Friday the 5th. You will have to have submitted your work. If your work is submitted on or before 3:20 on Friday the 5th, then I will accept it and look at it and review it. It has to be submitted in PDF form, not Revit. If you submit your Revit files, I won't open it up. So it will be as if you didn't do anything. And so 4 sheets combined into one file. If you submit 4 separate sheets as if in 4 separate files, then I will randomly pick one and I will grade your work as if that is your complete submission. So we want PDF format, all combined into one file, submitted with a date stamp on Blackboard on or before 3:20. If your final submission is submitted at 3:21 on Friday the 5th, I will not look at it. It will be as if you didn't do it. The information that you create needs to be displayed to me or demonstrated on these sheets. You can't come back later on and say, Professor Bryce, I did the work, I just didn't put it on my sheets properly. That won't be any sort of excuse for a late submission or an incomplete submission. The only thing I'll be looking at are those 4 PDF sheets combined into one file, hopefully, as your work. So if you're done the work and you can't put it on the sheets, then I will assume that you didn't do the work, even if you had. So I wish everybody the best of luck.